Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at Katana Zero, the new game from publisher Devolver Digital for the Nintendo Switch, also available on PC and Steam and Mac. But for this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Switch version. Before we get started, I just want to say, even though this video will probably be up on Tuesday, happy May the 4th, obviously, because it's Star Wars Day as of the recording of this video, and it also has a special meeting as the actor who played the iconic character Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, Mayhew, apologize if I'm not saying his name correctly though. He passed away just recently though. He was 74 though. And I would say my heart, as a Star Wars fan though, my heart goes out to his friends and family though. And rest in peace to the man who played an iconic character in the Star Wars universe. So now we got that out of the way, we'll get started on my thoughts on Katana Zero. Now, anybody who's heard of Devolver Digital knows basically they're known to put out games that are interesting, but they're also known for their anti-E3 showing, which I will honestly say I think that some of their E3s are impressive. Some of the games they put out are interesting. Some of them I've played, some of them I haven't. Last year I played one called The Messenger, which was a fun game that was kind of paying homage to, in a way, towards the Ninja Gaiden series and all that stuff. And since then, we've also seen a lot of their support, particularly also onto the Nintendo Switch. So it's interesting when the Nindies Direct happened, they showed us, I think, one of their titles called Katana Zero. And it was an interesting sort of like somewhat like a futuristic with an interesting story and all that stuff. And after investing, I think like a week or so, or a little bit more over a week on the game, I honestly have to say, this is a very interesting game to play. It is fun, it's enjoyable, and it's definitely one I would recommend if you have a Nintendo Switch. They're definitely worth a download, or if you have it on PC and Mac. But is it worth getting though? I would say to some degree, yes. So why don't we get started with our pros and cons, and I'll start off with the pros. The first one I do want to point out is the visuals and the music. I will say the game, based on my time with it has sort of a 16-bit style to it, and that certainly isn't a bad thing. I love the look to it though, and the music in the game is really, really good. And to some degree, I feel like it kind of gives off a little bit of a somewhat 80s vibe to it. I certainly don't think that's a bad thing at all. So visually and music though, it's really good. The next thing I want to talk about is the story, and the story is kind of interesting as you play as sort of a samurai character in an area called New Mecca, and the story follows him as being a war vet, being inserted with a drug, and fighting different criminals and all that, or different bad guys in the city of New Mecca. Though the story has a lot of twists and turns to it, and it's actually very interesting. In a way, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like something like I would watch from like the anime Ghost in the Shell, to a certain degree. I'm not saying it copies exactly like Ghost in the Shell, but to a certain degree, you kind of get that vibe to it, and that's one of the reasons why I probably enjoy the story of the game. And last but not least is the gameplay, and the gameplay is surprisingly fun. To me, it feels like a mixture between an action game and a puzzle game in a way, though. It plays like a full-on action games and so forth, but it feels like you have to sort of like, you have to take out most of the game is you have to take out all the bad guys, but you have to be kind of unique. You have to take it in a unique approach though, because you get hit once and you die, and you have to start the beginning of that section of the level. So you'll check out the gameplay and all that stuff. It's very unique. I feel like it's, like I said, it's a mixture of an action and a puzzle game and so forth, and I really do like that. I really like that, how they added this into Katana Zero. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get to part 2, which is the cons, and I only really have one con for this game, so we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video review of Katana Zero for the Nintendo Switch, based off of the Switch version and all. So now that I gave you my pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And as far as cons go in terms of Katana Zero, there's really only one I could think of, and it has to do with the gameplay being somewhat of a learning curve to it though. Now, I'm not saying the gameplay is terrible or bad or anything like that. It offers a challenge, and certainly that's not bad, or for me though it isn't. That said, it might be for some, because the game basically, you have to sort of attack enemies from a certain angle, and to the fact that you only have like one hit kill, which means if the enemies hit you, you're dead, and you have to start at the beginning of at least that level and so forth. The one least silver lining or bright spot I could say of this is that you do have unlimited lives, so you could try again as many times as you like. And there are levels where I have kind of struggled a little bit, and it took me a couple of tries. Eventually I was able to overcome it and be able to beat that segment of the level and so forth. So there is a bit of a challenge to it. There is a bit of a learning curve in terms of when to use to slow down time, when to roll, when to deflect bullets, or when to strike the enemies and so forth. So the game definitely has a learning curve, and that might be an issue for some though, but if you have the patience, it's well worth it and all. So the gameplay is still fun, it's still enjoyable, it's just there is a learning curve, and that might turn some people off. It may not turn everyone off, but it might be an issue for some people. Overall, I definitely enjoy Katana Zero though. I am enjoying the game as we speak though. I love the visuals and the music to the game. The story is interesting, and the gameplay is enjoyable and fun, and not to mention satisfying though. I will admit the gameplay does have a bit of a learning curve, and that might be an issue for some people out there, but if you have the time and the patience though, you'll find a game that's enjoyable. And this is probably a very enjoyable game from publisher Devolver Digital though. It'll be interesting if Katana Zero ever does get a sequel or not though, but I will say this: if you own a Nintendo Switch, or if you prefer PC or Steam or Mac, if you prefer those systems instead, if you like the game on either PC or Mac, or if you own a Nintendo Switch, I would say take a look at Katana Zero. It's definitely worth trying out, especially from Devolver Digital. Okay, we're gonna take a quick. Oh, I'm sorry. This concludes this video review of Katana Zero for the Nintendo Switch. Just screwed up right there at that moment though, and again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Katana Zero though? Is it a game worth downloading for the Nintendo Switch or for the PC or Steam or Mac though? Is it a fun game? Do you like these kind of games that Devolver Digital puts out though? Does it interest you in any way? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate, and I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, and if you make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you'd like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, wish you all a good evening then. Bye!